Everyone, in previous lecture we discussed about the cash conversion cycle, and in this lecture we will calculate a cash conversion cycle and resources needed for to support the cash conversion cycle. So here we have one example of IBM Corporation, and IBM Corporation had an annual revenue of 98,986 million. So this is the revenue amount, this is the cost of revenue, and their annual purchases are 57,416. Their average age of inventory is 17.5 days. Their average collection period is 44.8 days, and their average payment period is 51.2 days. Now our objective is to calculate a cash conversion cycle for this IBM company and resources invested to support cash conversion cycle. So first of all, we calculate the cash conversion cycle. In previous lecture, I have discussed about the formula of the cash conversion cycle, which was the average age of inventory plus average collection period minus average payment period. So in this case, average age of inventory is average age of inventory is 17.5 days, and average collection period is 44.8 days minus average payment period is 51.2 days. By summing these two values and subtracting 51.2, the overall answer is 11.1 days. So it means that the cash conversion cycle of the IBM company is 11.1 days. So they need a working capital for 11.1 days. So how much cash is required? So main question is, how much cash is required for the financing of 11.1 days in IBM? We can calculate it in second requirement. So in second requirement, our purpose is to calculate resources invested. So here objective is to calculate resources invested. So to calculate it, first we need to calculate how much cash or working capital is needed to finance inventory. So and we know that inventory days, our average age of inventory is 17.5 days. So we need a cash for 17.5 days to support inventory. So how can we calculate a inventory cost for 17.5 days? So we can calculate it by using it annual cost of inventory. So annual cost of inventory is the cost of revenue 57,057. So annual cost of inventory is 57,057, and let's assume in this question the year is represented by the 365 days. So if we divide the annual cost of inventory or cost of revenue by 365, so answer of this ratio will be the 1 day cost of inventory. And if we multiply this 1 day cost of inventory by 17.5 days, that's how we can calculate the cash requirement for inventories for 17.5 days. So by dividing 57,000 by 65 and multiply by 17.5, the overall answer is 2735. So these all amounts are in million. So it means that to finance inventory we need $2,735 million. And next question is, how much money IBM needed to finance account receivables, and their average collection period is 44.8 days. So it means that for 44.8 days, when IBM sell the product to the customer, then customer pay after 44.8 days. So between these 44.8 days, how much cash is needed to support this account receivables? We can calculate it with the help of annual revenue. So annual revenue is a type of the account receivable. So whole annual revenue for the IBM is 98,986. If we divide it by 365, the answer of this section will be the 1 day sale. if we multiply 1 day sale by 44.8 days, that's how we can calculate a cash requirement for the account receivables. And the whole answer is 12124. 12,124. So it means that IBM needed 12,124 million to support account receivables as a working capital. IBM needed 2,735 million to support inventory. And third is accounts payable. Accounts payable. So if we talk about accounts payable, so accounts payable is related to the average payment period, and average payment period days are 51.2 days. So it means that right now IBM is on average paying after 51.2 days, paying their dues to suppliers after 51.2 days. So how can we calculate a accounts payable for 51.2 days? If we have a whole year amount, then divided by 365, that's how we can calculate a 1 day accounts payable. And then if we multiply it by 51.2, that's how we can calculate a accounts payable. Cash support, basically here accounts payable represents the amount which IBM will have to pay to their supplier. So we can calculate it by their annual purchases. Here annual purchases are 57,416. If we divide annual purchases by 365, the answer of this section will be the 1 day annual purchase. So 1 day annual purchase multiplied by 51.2 days, the answer is equal to 8053 million. So IBM needed this much amount to finance inventory. IBM needed this much amount to finance accounts receivables. But this 8,053 million amount is financed by their suppliers, because in case of accounts payable, when we purchase anything on account on credit from our suppliers, let's say we purchase raw material from our suppliers, then the account will be accounts payable. So in this case, our supplier is supporting us for 51.2 days. How? When I purchase raw material on credit, when IBM purchase raw material on credit from a supplier, and supplier giving the 51.2 days cushion to the company, that the company can pay the due amount after 51.2 days. So it means that this much amount is supported by our supplier, and we need this much amount for inventory and this much amount for accounts receivables in working capital management. So if we want to calculate a cash, how much cash we needed to support 11.1 days of cash conversion cycle, we can calculate it by sum of these two, inventory plus this amount and minus accounts payable. Like the sum of these two values and minus this amount minus accounts payable, and the overall answer is equal to 6,806 million. 6,806 million resources invested. So this 6,806 million is showing that IBM needed 6,806 million amount to support their cash conversion cycle of 11.1 days. So first we calculate a cash conversion cycle which was 11.1 days, and for 11.1 days at any time IBM needed 6,806 million of working capital to support for the short-term financial management. So in this lecture we calculate a cash conversion cycle and resources required for working capital management. So this is the optimal resources required for working capital management 6806. if any company maintain cash more than this amount, let's say if IBM maintain cash more than this amount, let's say 8,000 million rather than 6,806 million. So in this case, definitely company will borrow this money. Company will sacrifice, and company will pay extra cost. And if company invest more money than their optimal level, it means that their cost of borrowing will be higher, their opportunity cost will be higher. Company will invest if let's say if it is 8,000, if company invest 8,000 amount rather than 6,806, this 6,806 is the optimal of working capital. And if company retain 8,000 for working capital management, it means that in this case company is investing 1,200 extra amount for the working capital management. And if company invests this 1,200 extra amount at anywhere else, let's say company invests this amount in a marketable securities or in any other new project, then company can earn any profit. So it means that if company maintain more cash than the optimal cash for working capital management, then their cost will be higher. And if company, second scenario is if this IBM company maintain a 6,000 cash for the working capital management less than the optimal, then in this case company will not be able to pay on time to all their suppliers. Company will not be able to pay their all accounts payable on time. So in both of the cases, in some cases they will not be able to pay on time to their suppliers, and in this case their cost will be higher. So optimal working capital is necessary for the appropriate management of working capital. So in this scenario, in this numerical, the optimal working capital amount is 6,806 million. So in next lecture we will discuss about how can we finance this amount. How can we finance this amount of working capital